I'm originally from New Hampshire, and when I was in my early 20s, I lived about half an hour outside of Manchester. I had just ended a 2-year relationship, and it was a weird period for me, one of those times when you're drifting a bit, trying to find your place, maybe searching for some kind of meaning without fully realizing it. My grandmother was deeply religious and never missed a Sunday service. After my grandfather passed, I began going to church with her every week. At first, it was partly to support her and partly because I felt like I needed something steady in my life too. My grandfather had been a respected veteran in our community, and losing him left a huge void, especially for my grandmother. But despite her grief, her faith never wavered. She used to say she knew he was finally with the Lord again, and you could tell that belief brought her real peace. I genuinely respected that. Faith that strong, that comforting is rare. I think a lot of people spend their whole lives chasing it, even if they can't quite describe what they're looking for. One Sunday after the service, I met a girl. Honestly, the whole thing still feels surreal. I hadn't seen her before, which was strange since our church community was small and familiar. She stood out, long, dark curls, intense hazel eyes. I waited until the end of the service and went up to talk to her. Sure, part of me was just physically attracted, but another part of me was curious. She seemed around my age, and I was intrigued by her sudden appearance. We hit it off immediately. You know, that instant connection. Her name was Kaylee. She had a quiet, mysterious presence. I kept asking about her background, but she kept things light, teasing that I'd have to take her on a date to get the full story. Eventually, she told me her family had recently moved to the area and she was attending a nearby college. That explained why I hadn't seen her before. We ended our chat with me getting her number, and I felt a kind of excitement I hadn't felt in a long time. Over the next week, we texted a lot. We even added each other on social media. I remember checking her Instagram and being surprised by how few followers she had, but I actually liked that. We had deep conversations, and she slowly opened up about her home life. I won't get into too much detail, but it wasn't good. Her stepdad was a drunk who mistreated both her and her mom. Her biological father was even worse, though she avoided specifics. She said they had to move and start over. She transferred schools and left everything behind. I didn't push for more, just appreciated that she trusted me enough to share. Hadn't set up a date yet because I expected to see her at church the next Sunday. Sure enough, she was there, and I took the chance to ask her out. She smiled and said yes without hesitation, and we planned to meet up later that week. The night of our date, I was nervous but excited. We kept things low-key, a movie and dinner. Nothing extravagant, just a chance to talk more. It felt natural. She listened intently and seemed genuinely interested in what I had to say. I didn't want the night to end, so I suggested a drive just to keep the conversation going in a quieter setting. We drove out of town along one of those highways that's really just a 2-lane road surrounded by trees. Everything felt perfect, but then it all changed so fast I still struggle to explain it. Out of nowhere, she started speaking in another language. It wasn't English, sounded almost like French. At first I thought she was messing with me, But then I saw her eyes, they roll back, test white. I panicked, nearly veering off the road. She looked like she was in a trance or having some kind of seizure. I managed to pull over, heart racing, completely unsure of what to do. I called for an ambulance, telling them she might be having a seizure. Meanwhile, she kept mumbling, her head trembling slightly. I was terrified, completely frozen. I didn't even know if I should touch her. And then, just like that, she stopped. Her head snapped toward me, her mouth shut, and her eyes returned to normal. She stared at me wide-eyed and intense. I'll never forget that look. Before I could react, she opened the car door and ran. Not just walked away, sprinted into the woods at full speed. I sat there, stunned, unable to move, my hand still shaking. When the emergency responders arrived, I told them everything, even though I sounded crazy. They listened, took my statement, and said they'd look for her. But that was the last I ever saw of Kaylee. She vanished, never came back to church. Her Instagram was gone. She blocked my number, or maybe changed it entirely. I had a friend try messaging her too, but it was like she'd been erased. No one at church remembered her. I searched online but found nothing. She was just gone. Don't live there anymore. And honestly, my memories of that place are all tangled up with what happened that night. I don't know what happened to Kaylee. I don't know if I'll ever know. But part of me wonders, was she real, or was she something else? Something that never really belonged there? I may never get an answer, but I'll never forget her. The look in her eyes, the way she disappeared without a trace, it still haunts me.